Hey guys, welcome to episode 2 of Mentality Minutes. This is week 2 and we're reading Legacy. Yesterday we went over what it means to sweep the sheds. But that was a really awesome episode, so go tune in. It was short too, so. Today we're talking about what it means to keep a blue head. And I'm going to explain it to you the way the book explains it and what I personally interpret it as. But the best way to learn it is, like I said, to buy the book and go through the process, because we've talked a lot about character, standards, mentality in that sense, but this is more strategy around the idea of visualizing, mindfulness, meditation, and keeping yourself in that state. So to keep a blue head, you have to incorporate all these practices, mental practices, and then implement them and execute them to stay in that state of mind. So this is I don't want to say more of a advanced topic, but it is a more advanced mental practice. So I'm going to explain it, like I said, the best that I can, and always reach out if you got any more questions when we get done. So what it means to keep a blue head is to control your attention. So in the book, they discuss between a redhead or a blue-headed person. And these are involving pressure. So maybe day to day you experience a lot of pressure, or maybe it's only game day or test time or whatever it is. This is a situation that a redhead and a bluehead applies to. So simply, a redhead is a person who, when they face pressure, is tight, inhibited, results oriented, anxious, aggressive, overcompensating, desperate. A bluehead is loose, expressive, in the moment, calm, clear, accurate, and on task. And a little excerpt that is in the book, it says, red is what's called the dark. It is that fixated negative content loop of self-judgment, rigidity, aggression, shutdown, and panic. Blue is what he called the light, a deep calmness in which you are on task, in the zone, on your game, in control and in flow. This applies to military, it applies to sports, it applies to business. So, I want to make a quick note. Being a bluehead does not mean being nonchalant, I don't really care, brush it off, whatever. Being a bluehead and being in that state of mind is something you have to teach and ingrain in yourself. And that's when the mindfulness and the intentional practice, the breath work, all that comes into play. So, I'm going to read you some instances where you typically face the pressure that puts you in the position to choose whether you're going to be a redhead or a bluehead. So, where something is at stake, where trauma of previous experiences triggered, where there's conflict, aggression, dispute, dissent, where there's a deadline, a ticking clock, urgency, and where there's high stimulus and distraction. So those are the situations, and those situations are usually going to cause red flags or warning signs, as they say, as they call them, which are just like triggers. And those situations are going to lead you to like this crossroads that you can go be a bluehead or you can be a redhead. So you have to, first of all, be aware. If you aren't even recognizing these things and you're just reacting to them instead of responding, it's not going to matter. So first of all, you need to be aware of these situations. And then you need to have what they call an anchor. Okay? So breathing slowly and deliberately, shift your attention to something external, the ground or your feet or the ball, but you're going to use deep breaths and keywords to get out of your own head, find an external focus, and get yourself back in the present to regain your situational awareness. So that's step 1. Now, when you're at this crossroads, these actions are called anchors, and they go more into anchors in the book in a different chapter, but I'm not going to for the sake of time in this conversation. But anchors are designed to bring players into the moment, into clarity, into the blue. So the whole process essentially works like this. I'm going to read you guys this process so you kind of have an idea better of what that would be like. First, we put ourselves into a resourceful state, calm, positive, clear. Then we anchor that state through a specific, replicable, physical action. So this is the anchor. Something out of the ordinary, like scrunching up your toes, stomping your foot, staring into the distance, throwing water over your face. Repeat and repeat and repeat that anchor until it's automatic. Then we recognize the symptoms of pressure. When our focus closes down, our vision narrows, our heart rate lifts, our anxiety increases, our self-consciousness rises, we can use the anchor to reboot and then return to our center. Like a doctor using paddles or a cardiac arrest, the jolt of recognition reactivates our more resourceful state and returns us to the moment. It is literally recognition. So recognition, the word recognition, if you break it apart, recognition, so like resetting your brain, which is cognition. Undiverted, we're free to assess, adjust, and act, which is a mantra, to become realigned with our task in the best way to complete it. To act rather than react. Okay, so your anchor is a habit, a ritual that you've created that recenters you. Like, for example, I would always clap my hands. If I felt like I was getting out of it, like a solid clap of my hands, I'm back. Like I'm back locked into it. Or different things where, maybe you dust off your shoes or something like that. But you have this ritual that recenters you and you've trained it into your body and you've done it so many times that it recenters you. So that's an anchor. And then you have this map of how you're going to go through that anchor in order to bring yourself back to center. And then a mantra. So their mantra in here is assess, adjust, and act. Assess, adjust, act. You have mantras in your life all the time. Probably if you're learning a new skill or you're learning something in class, the teacher breaks it down, makes it into a cool little rhyme or something that sticks in your brain. You have to have mental mantras for in high pressure situations where you train and ingrain them into yourself to access them when you need to access them so you can execute without having well, what am I supposed to do here? What do I do now? Because if you don't have that, that's when you turn to that redhead who just bulldozes and messes everything up and is gets mad as a poor leader and whatnot, versus a blue head who's calm, controlled, doing what you need to do. So I'm hoping this is all making sense. I can't see if someone's raising their hand or has a question, so just have to keep moving forward. But they give an example of a mantra that pilots use, which is aviate, navigate, communicate. Okay, a lot of people who face high pressure situations have simple to the point mantras. Mantras are the way in which we can tell our story to ourselves. They are tools for effective thinking, a mental roadmap in times of pressure. So the whole point of the map is if you have a direction you want to go in, you can describe it and point out clearly where your starting point is and where you're trying to go, and you can follow it. So from pressure, feeling anxious and overwhelmed, to I'm ready to go, I'm in the blue head zone. Okay, mantra, I'm going to repeat and repeat and repeat this to myself, and we're going to keep following this path. Okay, so assess, adjust, act, assess, adjust, act. And yours might be different. But in the book, they use assess, adjust, and act. So wise leaders seek to understand how the brain reacts to stress and practice simple, almost meditative techniques to stay calm, clear, and connected. They use maps, mantras, and anchors to navigate their way through highly pressurized situations, both personal and professional, and to bring themselves back to the moment. And then at the end it says clear thought, clear talk, clear task. So that was a lot. But hopefully as we were talking about it, you're thinking in your life where you can apply this. And I'm sure you have trigger points and situations that feel more pressure than other times, and it might be game day, it might be test time, whatever it is, start applying these steps of assessing, adjusting, acting, having your anchor, your routine, and then having your map of how you're going to get to that blue-headed zone, doing the things you got to do, and then repeating that mantra to yourself of, okay, we're going to stay in this state, because the opposing choice is to be a red-headed leader where you are hot-headed all the time and not efficient, not dependable, emotionally high and low, versus being a blue-headed leader, a blue-headed person that just gets the job done, is in the zone, still having fun, still embracing the moment because you have taught yourself these mental strategies. So I know that was kind of a lot of mental technique thrown at you, but if you just break it down into your anchors, your maps, and your mantras that are going to get you from pressure to the blue head zone, it's going to propel you really, really far forward in your performance and in those pressure situations. Something that you guys should look into and start to learn about now: meditation, visualization, mantras, and how to really understand how your mind works. Because we've been talking a lot about mentality in the sense of character and habit and who you are as a person, when we haven't talked a lot about mentality in the form of the psychological aspects to it. And I'm a psychology student, so I talk about this stuff all day. But if that's something you guys are interested in, want to get more into, with just mental rehearsal and different strategies to up your mental game in that sense, let me know and we'll do more episodes like this. But for today, I'm challenging you guys to think of a time during the day where you get into that red-headed zone. A teammate makes you mad, a teacher makes you mad, your parent makes you mad, whatever. Assess it and then adjust and respond accordingly, okay? So if a teammate makes you mad, you get triggered, or your coach says something and get upset, or someone does something and get upset, recognize that, get yourself back into that blue-headed zone, self-correct, take some deep breaths, let it out, and then move forward. And just start to do that in all these situations that might normally have triggered you. Now you're walking through it with a blue head, conquering and dominating your day. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you got something from today's lesson. Or it's not a lesson, it's an episode. Kind of feels like a lesson in a sense, but keep being great, and I'm excited to talk to you guys tomorrow for day 3, which, if you tune in this long, you're going to find out this might only be a 3-day series. I don't know if we'll probably do 5, because 3 seems most feasible. So tune in for our last day tomorrow, and I'm excited to see you guys there.